The reunion. A loud knock jolted Vivi from her half-sleep. For a moment she thought she was dreaming, until the knock came again, followed by a familiar voice through the door. "Vivi? Open up. It's us." Her heart skipped. She leapt from the bed, crossing the room barefoot, and swung the door open. And there they were, Dorian and June. Vivi blinked, stunned. Then the tears came, fast and unexpected. "You guys came," she gasped, hugging them both at once. "I can't believe this. How did you even know I was in trouble already?" June pulled her in tighter. "It's not that hard to guess," she said with a smile. "You disappearing with barely a text, missing calls, strange invitations, classic Vivi chaos." Dorian grinned, holding up a carry-on. "We figured if Milan's going to be dramatic, we might as well dress for it." Vivi laughed through her tears, the weight of the past 24 hours softening. For the first time since the theft, she felt less alone. Then came another knock. Luc Moreau entered, cool and composed in a tailored jacket, a duffel slung casually over one shoulder. "I see the cavalry beat me here," he said, eyeing the girls with a raised brow. "Barely," June replied. "You're losing your touch." I don't even know what to say," Vivi whispered, her eyes wide with disbelief and gratitude. "You're all here. I thought I'd handle this alone." "We knew you wouldn't," Dorian said plainly. "And you shouldn't." While they settled in, June wandered toward the dress form. Her eyes narrowed. "Wait a second," she said, circling behind it. Her fingers reached for something small and metallic tucked beneath the mannequin's fastening. A triangle. Silver. Folded. Discreetly pinned. She held it up. "Guys," she said, "look at this." Dorian stepped forward, face darkening the moment he saw it. "I knew it," he muttered. "They're tracking us." "Of course they are." Luke looked between them. "Wait, what does that mean?" "It means," Dorian said, taking the triangle carefully from June's hand, "this isn't just a robbery. It's a message. A warning. And maybe a trap." Vivi straightened, the fire returning to her voice. "Then let's send them a message back." Dorian glanced at her, something like pride flickering in his gaze. "We started this," he said quietly. "Now we finish it, once and for all." "Who is Sebastian?" Down in the marbled lobby of the hotel, June and Dorian approached the reception desk with quiet urgency. The concierge, buttoned up and smiling too politely, seemed unfazed by their serious expressions. "We're trying to locate someone," June said, offering a poised smile that barely masked her nerves. "His name is Sebastian. We're not sure of the last name, but he's tall, dark-haired, probably in his mid to late 20s. Very polished." The concierge tapped away at his screen. "There are a few guests named Sebastian currently staying with us," he replied. "Sebastian R., Sebastian C., and one who goes only by his first name. I'm afraid I can't provide any personal details or room numbers due to privacy policies." Dorian leaned in slightly, voice cool but edged with authority. "We're not asking for a room number. Just, does any of those match the description?" The concierge glanced at the screen again, then shook his head. "None that I can confirm, sir." Disappointed but undeterred, they turned back to the elevators. That's when Vivi acted. Still shaken but determined, she scanned the corridor and flagged down a housekeeper just as she emerged from a utility closet. Vivi slipped her a folded €100 note and pulled up a photo on her phone. A quick snap she'd taken of Sebastian from the night before. Laughing, blurred by motion, but unmistakable. "Please," Vivi said softly. "Have you seen this man? He was here for the fashion show." The housekeeper glanced at the screen, then straightened. "Ah, yes. Him." She nodded slowly. "He doesn't stay here. I see him a few times. Always very dressed, always alone. Vivi's breath caught. Do you know his name? The woman hesitated, then shook her head. No. I never notice his name. He never wears name badge even at the fashion events. Doesn't check in at desk, at least not with me there. Sometimes people like that, they use different names. June and Dorian exchanged a sharp look. Different names? June asked carefully. The housekeeper shrugged. Some guests, they like privacy. Sometimes they're famous. Sometimes not. Vivi felt a chill rise in her chest. So he could be here, under a different name. Or no name at all, Dorian muttered. Fake identities, limited check-ins. It's starting to smell less like fashion and more like setup. Vivi's fingers tightened around her phone. Who was Sebastian? And what was he doing inside Palazzo Rivia Milano under a name no one could trace? The tension hummed like static in the air in the suite. Vivi paced the floor in her silk robe, her phone clutched tightly in one hand. The moment the housekeeper's words replayed in her head, he didn't wear badge at the event, and the housekeeper said, sometimes people like that use different names. Something deep inside her turned cold. She dropped onto the edge of the bed and opened her photo gallery. Among dozens of selfies and runway shots, she found one. Sebastian laughing beside her at the fashion show, drink in hand, golden light casting soft shadows across his face. She selected info. Location, Milan Fashion Week after party, Villa del Rose. Timestamp, 2317. Shared via, airdrop unknown sender. That made her pause. Sebastian had sent her photos from that night, but not from a known contact. His number was never saved. In fact, she realized, he never gave her one. Everything had been through DMs or in person. That wasn't normal, even for the fashion scene. She screenshotted the metadata and forwarded it to June and Dorian. Then, biting her lip, she went deeper, scrolling back through old messages. A DM from Sebastian's Instagram, at @sebstyle_it. But when she tapped the name, user not found. Gone. Vanished. She stared in disbelief. It was as if he never existed. Later that afternoon, Dorian made a quiet call from the hotel terrace. One ear pressed against the phone as he watched the street below. Clara, he said, I need a favor. I'm sending you a photo. Clean it up, reverse search it, use whatever surveillance networks you still have access to. You always bring me the romantic cases, Clara replied from the other end, amused but sharp. Does this face match any of the aliases or flagged operatives you've seen lately? Might be operating under false credentials in Milan. High-end circles. Fashion Week access. Possibly a handler. Dorian sent the clearest photo of Sebastian he had. The one Vivi had captured right before the show. He hung up and made a second call, this one to an old contact in Interpol's Milan bureau. Run the guest list of Palazzo Rivia Milano, Hotel Delinate and Hotel de Signes. Cross-check with alias patterns used in high-end cons someone named Sebastian. Could be fake. No last name. As Dorian each followed their threads, a clearer picture began to emerge. One of the guest registries showed the same passport photo under two different names. One of them matched a man connected to a boutique art heist case in Florence, never solved. The metadata from Vivi's photo linked to a VPN-hosted location with prior connections to luxury cons. Clara sent a message. Alias pattern confirmed. This guy is a ghost. History for switching identities. Has worked under names like Bastian Kerr, Marco Luno, and S. Dallaire. Milan is his new playground. When Vivi received the message from Dorian, she stared in stunned silence. She thought Sebastian was just a charming fashion insider, connected, clever, and maybe just a little mysterious. Now she wasn't sure if he was a con artist, a thief, or something far more dangerous.